it's sticking with the devil that you know, because it's the thought of you're comfortable with this person, you've connected with this person, you see good in this person, but it's like, why? Like, it would be better to wait around, right? Could be the mind frame. It'd be better to wait around because I'm familiar with this person, and hopefully eventually when all of this stuff wraps up, they ultimately come around. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to cutting it off with them and say they get it together and now I've moved on and the person doesn't want to deal with me now because I wasn't patient with them. But the thing that I feel is this is... Hello, Crosswatcher for Libra. I'm still trying to work out this intro that I haven't done in a very long time, but welcome to the Crosswatchers only reading. If you're not familiar with what these readings are readings that I do for people who are dating a particular zodiac sign, and they're trying to get a little bit of information on what is going on with the person or what is going on with your connection, my friend, whether it be relationship, situationship, or what have you. First card out, we have the King of Swords in the reverse. Not really a fan of that because we have someone, first vibe that comes to me with this is someone who's potentially a drunkard. They may drink a little, too much. They may be a little schmizzed, you know what I'm saying, more often than not. This person could also be someone that's in a romantic relationship or commitment. The person could be married is what I'm saying, but they could also be in some sort of Lord Jesus, a committed relationship, crosswatcher friend. And the vibe that I get with this, the next card that's out is the Chariot in the reverse. That's Cancerian energy, but it's more or less this. Okay, this has been happening for the last couple of readings, so let me just say it like I'm seeing it. So what it's looking like is there's a person where on one side they could potentially have a hidden life, meaning that they could have a partner or a whole family or a wife or a husband, depending on your preference, that you may or may not know about. However, it's a lot of high hopes that this person gave you, because much like I felt for the Crosswatcher for Virgo, there's this like mind-blowing kind of sexual connection thing. However, the person is very much emotionally unavailable because the only thing that's really binding this connection is the fact of the two of you sleeping together. Now, with this Chariot in the reverse, it's more or less giving me the vibes that this person gave you hope that the situation would move into something else, meaning the person that they're connected to, if there is another person, because for some people, this could literally just be someone who's a workaholic that's obsessed with work. And I'm saying a person as in a Libra person, right? They could be a workaholic and obsessed with work, or have a fear of commitment or a fear of being vulnerable with people. But whatever the case, they're showing up as very emotionally unavailable. However, I feel either the Crosswatcher, either from the sexual connection that you guys have or the way that you've kind of bonded with each other, up until this point, this person is giving you the hope that this would matriculate into something. But as time has passed, it's almost like you guys are at a stalemate. I don't necessarily want to use that word, because stalemate would say that you want one thing, the other person wants another thing, and the two of you aren't compromising on it. And I don't necessarily feel that. I just kind of feel that the connection is at a stasis. And I look at the Chariot in this deck as my sneaking out the back door card. So the vibe that I get with that is this is a person that will, like, you guys would meet up for like sexy time. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes before the sun comes up, this person would be gone. But majority of the time that the two of you spend together is spent doing sexual things. You know what I'm saying? Then we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And with that, that's really speaking to the energy I was picking up on the sense that this person makes a lot of excuses as to why things haven't moved forward, or why it is that they haven't committed yet. It's because, they need to get their finances in order. I'm trying to close on this house, or work is just so crazy and hectic, or, she won't sign the divorce papers. She's using the kids against me, like whatever the case may be. It's something that's going on in their personal life as the reason to why it is that they're saying that you can't move forward. So as it goes with the Knight of Pentacles, it's more or less the Crosswatcher's perception of the situation would more or less be that it's taking this person a little bit more time to come around, either because they're afraid to commit, or, their jerk of an ex-wife, gutted them, you know what I'm saying? And they're just terrified to be in love again, or it's the perception of their current circumstance, whether it be work or, a person that they're trying to go through a divorce with, or a person that they say that they're going to divorce. This is interesting. These readings are coming out like this, but in that particular situation, as to why the offer didn't come. But the thing that I'm more concerned about above anything else is the Crosswatcher's perception of this person. So it's kind of rationalizing why it is that things have not moved forward, or why this person isn't showing up 100%. Now, moving into the Crosswatcher's energy, the first card we have is the King of Wands in the reverse. And I'm feeling this more or less as the energy signature of how you perceive this person, how it is that they're showing up in your life. Your perception of this person, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's just the vibes I'm picking up, is almost like a daddy man kind of figure. It's like seeing this person as someone who, would change a flat tire, there's a plumbing problem at home, he would fix it. Like your car breaks down, he'd fix it. Kind of like a resourceful kind of dude. And I think that's a lot of what it is that drew you to him in the first place, is him being kind of like a family man. He seems very caring, very, loving, like almost like a rock, like someone you could rely on, right? And that's what drew you to him. And then finding out that he's in, this terrible situation, and kind of trying to stick with him through it. However, how it is that he's actually showing up, especially with this falling under this this King of Swords in the reverse, is more or less, it's kind of a manipulative type of thing, in the sense that what it is that he is projecting isn't exactly who he is. And I feel that how the Crosswatcher perceives this person is very much in it's very much in an idealistic kind of standpoint. So it's almost like when you meet a person, and we all meet a person's representative when we meet them, right? So it's kind of like how this person is behaving now isn't the person you know them to be. Like the person that you fell for, the person that you put up with the situation for, they were one way when you first met them, but over the course of time, they became someone else, and things didn't go the way that you initially hoped they would. However, the Crosswatcher would be holding on to who this person was when they first met them, and believing that the reason why this person is different and they aren't the way that they were when you first met them is because of this ex-wife, or wife they're trying to divorce that won't sign the divorce papers, holding the kids over them because this project they're working on at work is just too much, it's all consuming, you know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why they're not spending as much time with you, or they're only coming over, to sleep with you or whatever, or they haven't made this offer or made it official yet, is because of this particular thing. You know what I'm saying? The next card that we have is the Four of Swords. So it's really feeling as if this person is holding back from you. So here's the thing. What we're speaking to, Crosswatcher, is your intuition kicking in. So there's something inside of you that is saying something isn't amiss, and that something is amiss. And the thing that I described, like this process that I'm seeing, is rationalizing or intellectualizing the situation. So it's kind of like being in dissension with yourself, because it's craving, it's desiring more from the person, right? But because of the person's particular situation or circumstance, they can't give you what it is that you're desiring or what you're wanting from them fully. So in reality, it's kind of settling for less than you would desire. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all that the person really has to give right now. And the reason why you're dealing with it is because of the person's particular situation. You know what I'm saying? But the next card is the Two of Pentacles. And with this, I get the vibe of, and this would be more or less like an inner battle that's happening between you guys, is the day for this to happen, or the time frame for this to happen, keeps getting extended because something else keeps coming up. However, you're holding on to how it is that you have or who it is that you perceive this person to be, who they used to be, who you feel that they could be, even though that they're holding that back from you, right? And when you think about it logically, right, it's kind of like, and it's similar to like what I said for Crosswatchers for Virgo, in the sense of, or was that Leo? No, I think it was, yeah, it was Virgo. But when you think about it logically, right, you're thinking like, what would be the reason for, you know, this person pushing this off? Like, nobody's that busy. No one works that much. I mean, this project has been going on for 6 months now. You know what I'm saying? Like, when is this going to end? So you have those thoughts come up, and it's almost like you suppressing them and being like, I need to think positive about the situation. I need to think happy thoughts in the direction of the situation. This is a test. You know, I know who this person is, whatever, whatever. But I feel within you, it's almost feeling kind of off kilter, because it's like you can't put your feet down. It's almost as if, because of the lack thereof of forward movement of this person, this Libra person, it's like you can't really put your foot down on what it is. So because you don't know what they're doing or what this is, you're kind of in a position to where you're in limbo as well, you know? And I feel you spend a lot of time, and this may sound strange, but I mean, to who this resonates with, it would make sense. But I feel you spend a lot of time like manifesting this person, like whether it's or trying to what would be the action word for that? I don't know how to say it. The thing I'm trying to say is like telepathy, but I don't know how you say that as like an action word, like telepathize. I just did a little, but telepathize, I don't know what the word is for that, but it's trying to engage in telepathy with this person. Or if you have intuitive gifts, it's like trying to tune into their energy, just trying to peer. And I mean, hell, it could be the equivalent of you watching this reading, you know what I'm saying? But as you trying to tune into them and almost kind of trying to send your love or your vibes or how you feel to them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So it's wanting to find a ground, it's wanting to find some sense of stability and security, but it's almost feeling as if the only option, like say if you talk to your friends, the only option that you would be given to have that would be to let this person go. And I feel as it stands, that's not really an option for you. And even if you believe that it is, like say if you're holding back from them and you're not talking to them, or you're trying to give the person time to figure it out, you're still very much invested in them and thus not moving forward, even if you're giving yourself the illusion thereof, like kind of telling yourself like, you know, I'm not going to talk to them until they figure it out, or I'm moving on when they figure it out, like come find me type of deal. But it's like the person's energy is still very much with you, because you're still very much, you know, emotionally invested. So it's almost like if you were to say that you didn't care, like if they come back, cool. If they didn't, then still cool. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be true. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is, like at the root of it, you really would want this person to come back. And the reason why you would want them to come back is the hope that's very much invested in who it is you recall them being when you two, first got together, or who they were before stuff kind of shifted. Now we have the Wheel of Fortuna. So with the Wheel of Fortune, things are kind of shifting. And I'm not going to say are, I really want to say did, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at this energy more or less from, because I mean, I haven't done these for a while, but specifically for my Libra Crosswatchers, this really feels like the end part of July. Sorry for my crazy faces. I keep spitting. What is going on with my freaking mouth? Jesus. I'm seeing this for the end part of July and into August is when things kind of shifted. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like if the Crosswatcher came to a place, much like what I was saying, where it's like, I'm going to give them their space and I'm not going to keep putting pressure on this, but like, kind of like you set a boundary almost of like, you figure it out type of deal. And, and you're not talking to the person, but I still see this person's energy like heavily with you. But at the same time, it's like, looking at this in the energetic sense, I feel for both of you, there's a cycle that has restarted, right? And it's kind of like, depending on what your sign is, if you were to look at your soul session for your sign, and this is also fixed signs with the Wheel of Fortune, which is Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. But if you were to look at your soul session for August, a lot of people are in a place to where things are kind of frozen in the month of August, and everyone is being pushed into a corner, backed into a corner, and being forced to make a decision, which would go back to the decision that I don't really feel Crosswatchers necessarily want to make, or are telling themselves that they made that they really haven't quite made because they're still very much invested in the situation, is being at this crossroads where one has to make a choice on if you're going to hold on to this situation or give yourself the illusion you're moving on and hold on to this situation, or if you're actually going to move forward from the situation. So it's almost kind of like the slate being wiped clean, and what occurred prior to this is still happening. Like the person is still behaving the same, or thinking that setting that boundary would cause this person's behavior to shift, but they're still kind of doing the same thing. It may be like minute kind of things with them that change. They may be talking more, spending more time with you. However, that main offer that you're looking for from them, that tangible thing, right? That hasn't quite happened yet. It's like they're still kind of holding back on that. So it kind of feels like it's fallen into this kind of tit for tat kind of energy, where because they aren't giving you what you want, it's like not giving them what they want either. But the whole reason for doing that, regardless of what one is telling themselves, the whole reason for doing that would solely be because it's like you want the commitment. So say hypothetically, right? If sex is like the only thing that's happening, right? Or the thing that they'll make time for, and you want the commitment. It's like saying, we're not going to have sex anymore. Like we can still be friends. We can still talk. We can still hang out. But until you leave her or figure stuff out at your job or get the divorce type of deal, we're not going to have sex anymore, but we're still going to connect. You know what I'm saying? Still spend time together. That would be like an example of that kind of tit for tat. Like, I want you to do, or I want you to commit, and I know you want this, so I'm going to hold this back so you give me what I want type of deal. That's kind of like the vibe that I get with that. And I mean, I can't judge how it is people choose to approach said things, Crosswatcher. However, I feel it's imperative to understand the intentions behind that, like I understand the rhyme and reason, but is needing to understand your personal intentions for that, which are the fact that you're with a person who's holding out, right? They aren't giving you what you want, and it's trying to withhold something to get the person to do what it is that you want them to do. And what that means for you in particular, I'm not sure, but I'm feeling compelled to tell you that, like, you guys needing to be consciously aware that it's almost like a give to get type of thing, but it's for the sole intention of the fact that you want the person, right? Because if you didn't want the situation, right, there would be no need to do that. You would just kind of cut ties. But I feel the important thing to note with all of this is whatever it is that this person has been doing, just trying to hold out on that isn't going to make them change their mind, right? Or do what it is that you want them to do, or commit or whatever, because there's a very specific reason why it is that they're doing what they're doing, which still goes back to this person being emotionally unavailable or non-committal. The next card that we have is the Nine of Swords in the reverse and the Two of Wands in the reverse. So here is the dealio, my friend. With this Nine of Wands in the reverse, this is more or less what I was speaking to. That byproduct of that kind of tit for tat thing is the desire to hold back in hopes of, you know, like, what is it that people will say, like getting the, like, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free type of thing. I feel it's kind of fall into a mindset like that, like thinking, oh, I've been giving away the milk for free, right? And I want, you know, this person to buy the cow. So if I stop giving the milk, they'll buy the cow type of deal. You know what I'm saying? But there's a reason why this person was just getting the milk and not buying the cow. And the reason for that is because they don't have, you know, an open green pasture for the cow to graze, you know? They don't have a barn to have that cow live in. And that's why they never bought the cow, right? So it's more or less a thing of settling for the milk because they can't have the cow, right? Type of deal. So this person isn't really equipped to give what it is that they offered you in the beginning, or that they promised you in the beginning. And it's almost as if they're using, you know, whatever this is, whether it's a, you know, wife that won't sign papers, ex-wife, baby mama, job, whatever, as an excuse as to why it is that they can't move forward. So I say emotionally unavailable, you know what I'm saying? Because for whatever reason, this person isn't fully investing, even if it's fear-based, even if they literally are afraid, you know what I'm saying, of commitment. Is just the fact that in a sense, they're kind of shortchanging you because they're not giving you fully what it is that you want. And you would have to admit the fact that you want something more. Otherwise, there wouldn't be this, well, I'm setting a boundary and I'm not doing this anymore until, you know, XYZ type of deal. So it's almost like a self-awareness that's kind of coming about here, and being conscious of what your intentions are and why it is that you're doing what you do. And I feel that for all people, like, what is the true motives behind what it is that we're doing? Because we could say, oh, I don't want to be taken advantage of. Very true. But when we dig a little deeper, it's the intentions behind it. It's not just that I'm setting a boundary because I don't want to be taken advantage of. I'm setting a boundary because I don't want to be taken advantage of, and I want you to do X, Y, Z, and not what you're doing type of deal. However, I feel this Nine of Swords is speaking to this feeling of unrest that may now be or may soon be setting in when one realizes that this holding back type of thing, it hasn't given the result that you desire, because what it is that you're desiring in the bigger picture would be what this Two of Wands would be if it was upright, which is making plans for the future, talking about how the two of you are moving forward with each other, but kind of tapping out with the end of August and going into September, with this Two of Wands being in the reverse, that's still not quite happening. So if we were to box this into a decision that you guys, I mean, I can't even say need to make, if you even wanted to look at it as a decision, because I feel you have the right to not make one, you know what I'm saying? So it's more or less being boxed in to see that in this particular situation, you're not getting what it is that you want, and this isn't moving forward, you know what I'm saying? And it's coming to a place, if you so desire, of what you're going to do about that moving forward. Are you going to, you know, continue to wait around to see if the person does come around, or are you going to make the decision to move forward to get what it is that you desire, you know, elsewhere? And at the bottom of your deck, we have the Page of Wands in the reverse. So here's the thing with you and this Libra person, y'all are on two very different pages, and what the two of you are wanting from this situation is very different, right? And I can also see this as like a block for the Crosswatcher too, because it's kind of like sticking with the devil that you know. And I kind of said a similar thing in Virgo. It's sticking with the devil that you know, because it's the thought of, you know, you're comfortable with this person, you've connected with this person, you see good in this person, but it's like, why? Like, it would be better to wait around, right? Could be the mind frame. It'd be better to wait around because I'm familiar with this person, and hopefully eventually when all of this stuff wraps up, they ultimately come around. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to cutting it off with them and say they get it together and now I've moved on and the person doesn't want to deal with me now because I wasn't patient with them. But the thing that I feel is this is vastly different than what came out in the Virgo Crosswatcher reading, because the Virgo person is legit going through some really serious stuff. Like, they really going through something and just have poor communication. You know what I'm saying? But with this Libra person, it doesn't feel like that with them. It's like, it's almost them kind of taking advantage of the situation and kind of resting on their laurels a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in an ideal position where it's comfortable for them, but it's not like what they're putting out there of what's holding them back isn't really the case, if that's making sense. And I hope and pray that that is making sense. These readings are so interesting. I'm going over to my network to do the extended for this reading. My wonderful, wonderful Crosswatchers. I'm going to look at how it is that this Libra person thinks as well as feels about you. So if you're about that life, follow me over there. This is very interesting, but if not, I still love your face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friend.